I've had a few requests to do a video on a 2D gimbal. One of them little cheap CNC gimbals they claim to be for a DJI or whatever. There's actually 2 or 3 videos out right now that show it, but it doesn't seem like they show it in very good detail. It's kind of hard to follow, so I figured I'd go ahead and make something up so that if at all possible, it would clarify some of the actual modifications you have to do to it. Okay, here we go. So this is the 2D gimbal. This is gimbal number 3 that I own. This is how it comes in the package. Simple. You look real close. Camera sits right there, and it's pretty much center. And this is the rest of it. This is the mounting part of it that goes to the quadcopter or whatever you're using. But I just wanted to do a quick modification to show what I do to move that camera forward. If you look at this one here, this is the one that's done on my XK. So you can see what it does. It moves the camera forward so that the legs don't show in the video. And the way to do that is basically to unplug these 2 plugs to get to these 2 screws down here. Now you can get to the screws, but it makes it kind of inconvenient. But for now, and what I usually do is I'll take a little white out and I'll mark to make sure that I don't get them mixed up. Just all it takes is like maybe 1 dot for this side, left side, and 2 dots for this side. That way they're marked. You know, the 1 dot's the left side and 2 dots is the right side. Yeah, take a few minutes and let that dry. But basically all I'm doing is I'm taking this mounting bracket that holds the main camera mount, and I'm just going to spin it around so that this will be up here. First thing you want to do is get rid of these tie wraps. Little tiny zip tie there, and you want to cut it in a place where you know you're not going to cut the wire. And just unplug these 2 wires. One there. There's one there. And there's also a wire under here that goes to the sensor, which is this thing under here. And you want to make sure you don't damage that. Those 2 screws. Hold it together. Don't lose them. Simple as that. Then you take this and just spin it around like so, and put it back in place like that, so that it's facing forward instead of centered. And well, you got these screws out. What you want to do, put a little bit of thread lock on them. Now you don't want to use the red thread locker because that's permanent. This is a blue thread locker. What that does is when it dries, it glues it in place, but it's not permanent. You can actually unscrew the screw. What this does is it just keeps the vibration from causing the screws to come loose. So usually what I'll do is I'll open this up, I'll set my screws in the hole where they go, like so. Oops. And then I'll just take and put a little bit of thread lock on each screw. It don't take much, just a dab. And you see I got quite a bit on there, and I wiped some of the excess off. If you look at it, it's just real thin. Okay. And then you take your mounter, line up the holes, and just start screwing it in place. Try not to pinch or cut the wires in any way, shape, or form. Get a good one. Let's see if I got a better screwdriver for that. There we go. Just snug it up. And there you have it on the mount. So that's all set. And then you can take the wires that you unplugged. Remember this wire here, and you got to leave enough slack so that this thing moves well. Number one, this one plugs into this side. And number two plugs into the number two side, the right side. Make sure they're good and snug. You can take yourself a new zip tie, one like this, and what I'll do is I'll feed it through, get it set up. There you go. Get your wires back in place and adjust them a little bit before you snug it up too tight. Snug it up and clip it off. And there you have it. So now you've got your camera set up so that it gets forward instead of back here. So when you mount this to your quadcopter, your legs are coming down here, the camera will be in front of the legs. The camera mounts on there. Now, this is fresh out of the box, brand new. I noticed this one's got a nice little pad on it, yet my other one didn't have the pad. Set your camera in there. And on this particular camera, it's a lighter camera. These are usually set up for a GoPro, and the GoPro is a little heavier. So what I do is I push them out to the edge as far as I can go, like so. So that the camera is about right there. And even so, sometimes you have to put weight on them. What I like is when my camera is actually on there and the gimbal is kind of naturally level, balanced. Let's see what it does if I plug it in. There it goes. So there's my adjustment. It still needs to tune it. I can tell it needs tuning. I have to plug it into the computer. But that's the cheap 3D or 2D gimbal, and I'd say it works pretty good. Anyhow, I just wanted to do a quick video on how to get that camera moved forward so everybody can see what exactly is going on here. So it does move the weight a bit forward. But usually the way I set my FPV up on my quads, I usually put a transmitter back here and I mount it directly to the plate here so that it's a heat sink. So it helps dissipate the heat from the transmitter on the FPV. So that kind of compensates a little bit of the weight. But there you go. There it is. That should help clarify how to do that modification. I have 3 of these gimbals, so I'm getting to be quite the expert on them. I wouldn't say expert, but pretty knowledgeable on how to make them work correctly. So now that one is ready to hook up. There you go. Thanks for watching.